Okay, so I'll just start with the basic presentation, and I'm going to introduce all the concepts of PER, whatever you guys had doubts in and all of that. And then anytime you'll have any doubts, start putting it in the chat questions. So let me just get started. Okay. So PER, first of all, is practical experience requirement. Along with the exams of ACCA, once you complete it, if you complete only the ACCA exams, you guys become ACCA affiliates. It's only when you complete the practical experience requirement that you all become an ACCA member. So the difference between affiliate and member is affiliate only has the exams cleared, but a member has exams as well as his entire experience validated by ACCA. So when you go out in the real world, people don't take you for only theoretical knowledge. They know you've gone through enough experience that you have what it takes to be a fully qualified chartered accountant. We are going to be discussing, there are 3 essential legs for PER, which we are going to get into right now. Okay. So PER has 36 months of work experience, which you need to go through. It has something known as performance objectives, and there is the ethics module. Once you complete these 3 things, you basically will complete your PER. I'm going to take you all now through each of these 3 things in depth, so that based on where you are, some of you must have not started anything in PER, some of you must have partially completed it. Whatever it is, this should basically clarify all your doubts in regarding PER. So work experience is the heaviest of the 3 legs of PER. If you can finish the work experience, which is of 36 months or 3 years, you're sorted. That's the major chunk of PER. Now I'm going to take you through it one by one. So hopefully it becomes more and more clear. First question is, what work experience do all of us need? Guys, as long as the work experience is revolving around finance or accounts, ACCA will count it as your work experience qualified for ACCA. So don't work in, like, you know, maybe if you have your dad's business, for example, don't work in the operations or the marketing department, obviously. As long as you all are working in finance and accounts, it will qualify towards PER. Second, now, any sector, any industry. This means that unlike your CA friends who actually have to only work in a CA firm for the articleship to be counted, in ACCA, you are allowed to work in any industry. You can work in a restaurant as long as you're working in their accounting department. You can work in Amazon as long as you're working in their finance or accounting department. You can work in literally any company in any sector, doesn't have to be in the CA world. But in that company, you guys have to work in finance and accounting. Okay. Now, fourth point is no restrictions on shifting company. Again, it's related a little bit to articleship. CAs, when they start their articleship in any firm, they've got to stick to that company for almost the entire articleship period. Like, they can leave in the last 1 year, but most people stay in one firm for their entire 3 years. In ACCA, now the advantage is you can literally, in those 3 years, in your 36 months, you can shift 36 companies if you want. You can work in various different companies. You can work 3 months in different companies. You can work in various sectors. As long as you have a cumulative experience of 36 months in the field of finance or accounts, you will be able to qualify this leg of PER. So any sector, you can shift into multiple companies. And the best part is, when you shift it, there is no restriction that you've got to, when you start your work experience, you have to finish all 36 months in one shot. You can work let's say you work for a year, then you take 3 months ka break, and then you continue again. So whenever you continue it, your number of months will it'll continue from the last month you left off. So you work for 12 months, take a 2-month break. When you start again, your 13th month will start from that time. So the flexibility that they have is different from what CAs have. CAs, when they start, they've got to complete it all in one shot. So that's another flexibility that ACCA has given here. Now, this is an extremely important point. Your immediate senior or even the highest level in your company, the person does not have to be a chartered accountant. Again, like articleship, you need to work in a CA firm because you need the person who signs the work experience. He needs to be a qualified chartered accountant. In ACCA, for this leg of PER, for your work experience, if you work under your dad, for example, and your dad is the head of the company, he's not a chartered accountant, but you're working in the accounting department of his company, he can sign it off. There is no issue. So it's a very important thing that you find, that you ensure that you are working, that you don't have a CA above you. That's a lot of people have asked us this in the past. This is also not going to be an issue. The last point here is that you can complete it before, during, or after your ACCA exams. This essentially means that a lot of people who start ACCA, they start working at different times. For example, I have started working after my 6th paper. So many people start after 4 papers. Some people start only after they finish the first 9 papers. And some people say that, okay, I want to only focus on my exams. I'll finish all 13 papers, and then I'll start working. The option or the flexibility of when to work, in what chunks, in what field, in what industry is all on you. The only thing you guys need to do is complete a total of 36 months in accounting or finance department of any company. Okay. Now, that being said, these are the major points of work experience questions that we get. Now, our recommendation, which all of us always tell people, is ideally, guys, start working anywhere after you finished around, let's say, 7, 8, 9 papers. That's a good time to start. Okay, it's not compulsory. It's a recommendation. Many people start before. Most people start after. But a suggestion is start working when you're at your 7th, 8th, 9th paper approximately. It's a good time. Also, even though ACCA is giving us the flexibility of not working in a CA firm, I suggest do work in a CA firm. It's good to have the traditional financial and accounting experience that CA firms provide. It can be a small CA firm, it can be mid-size, or it can be one of the large brands. Not a big deal. But it's better because you actually get exposure to various different industries from a chartered accountant's point of view. So if this base of yours is strong, it makes a huge difference when you actually apply at a higher level in some other industry. So try working in a CA firm if possible. Make sure that your senior is a chartered accountant, and try and stick to one company for at least a year and a half. Shifting the companies is good, but if you do too much of it, you'll never really get in-depth experience of overall finance and accounts. So our recommendation is this, that work in one CA firm for at least a year and a half. If you get a good Big Four or Grant Thornton or BDO kind of companies, jump into it. Now, I'm coming to the second leg, which is called performance objectives. Okay. Now, first of all, before you all read anything, performance objectives, what is that? Think about performance objectives, that those are certain objectives that you will have to achieve in order to complete this leg of PER. Now, these objectives are very simple in the sense they automatically will be fulfilled in your work experience. So the objectives that ACCA wants us to complete are things which are a little basic. So such as we have to demonstrate leadership skills. We have to show that we are ethical. If you worked in, let's say, an audit department, they want you to show that you've achieved the objective of actually planning an audit. Or if you're working in tax, they want to, the ACCA wants us to show that we've achieved the objective of filing a tax return. So ACCA has a list of these objectives, which we can choose which ones we want to achieve. So objectives are like that. If you all are not understanding this, it's okay, because by the time I'm done with it, I'll give a couple of examples, they'll become clear. Okay, so first point is there are overall 9 objectives which we guys need to achieve, out of which the first 5 are mandatory. I'm going to show these 5 when I show you all the live. I'll log into one of the accounts and show you all the actual PER page and stuff like that. These 5 include things like demonstrate leadership, demonstrate ethics, demonstrate strategy, and I'll explain how to even fulfill those objectives. And then there are 4 technical, as you can see, 4 objectives that are technical. Now these 4 are actually, you have to choose from 17 different objectives. You have to choose any 4. And these 4 depend on where you work. So if you, like I was giving an example, if you worked in the tax department, you can choose objectives which are related to tax. ACCA has options to prove that we worked in the tax department. Otherwise, it's audit, or it's financial management, or it's advisory. So there are these lists of objectives which we need to fulfill. And most of the time, it automatically gets fulfilled in your work experience. So you don't really have to sort of do it separately. Okay. Now, The second point is you have to demonstrate your experience as a trainee. That is what I said. Now, this is it important. Based on the objective, so I'm going to use a basic example that let's assume that the objective we have to achieve is show that we have filed a tax return. If that's the objective that you have chosen, right, you have to demonstrate to ACCA in 200 to 500 words and add a small example in real, like actually what you all have done, so that when somebody reads it, they understand that, okay, this student has actually completed this objective in those 200 to 500 words. Okay, so you choose the technical option, you use the performance objective that you are looking at fulfilling, answer how you've achieved it in 200 to 500 words with an example. So that is what this third point means. Again, guys, if you are not getting clarity on it, it will become clear once I show you all. For those who are understanding, please stay with me, okay? Look at the fourth point. Extremely, extremely different from the previous one and very important. In this particular case, right, your senior who's going to validate that, yes, this, for example, if it's Sharik is a student, then, and I'm his senior, then Sharik, when he achieves his objectives, he shows me those 200 to 500 words that he has to punch in to show how he's fulfilled that objective. If I'm a senior, I have to approve it. I can disapprove it saying, no, all this is nonsense, Sharik has not done this. But if it's true, then I have to validate it. And when because I'm a senior, ACCA will take my validation as the final word. But when I'm validating it, I need to be a chartered accountant, or I need to be an ACCA, or I need to be something known as a member of IFAC. Now, most of you all would know IFAC, but for those who don't, IFAC is a global accounting body which actually authorizes and licenses bodies in different countries. So, India's ICAI, the Indian CA body, is a member of IFAC. ACCA is a member of IFAC. So, as long as an ACCA or a CA member validates your performance objective, ACCA will count it as a go-ahead. Which brings, and if you remember, I'm going back to the previous slide. In the previous slide, it is not necessary that your senior is a CA, but in this one it is. So that is why the recommendation that 𝗲𝘅 is giving you guys is that when you start working, make sure that your senior is a CA, so that not only your work experience, but even your performance objective is all fulfilled by one guy. It's not necessary, but it's a recommendation. Okay, and the last part is, you can complete this also along with or separately from a 36 months of work experience. So what this means is, like I was saying, the 9 objectives which you'll have to achieve will most likely get fulfilled in your 3 years of work experience. However, under the unlikely event that out of those 9 objectives, you could only complete 7 and 2 are pending, you can still do those 2 separately in your next job. It's not compulsory that all of this has to get completed in your 36 months. Many people get confused. So please keep in mind that they are separate. You can finish 36 months separately and your objectives separately. But our recommendation is keep them all together. It'll make your life easier. Right? And in this particular case, our objective is that, recommendation is that automatically, if you stay in a company for a long enough period of time with a CA, with a senior who's a CA, your first leg of 36 months of work experience and your second leg of performance objectives all will get done in the same way. My performance objectives, I could finish in 1.5 years by staying in one firm, which is why I'm recommending these things to you guys. So automatically, the kind of objectives ACCA wants us to achieve, they're more than manageable. So this is to do with performance objectives. Okay. So what are the next steps for all of us, right? So first, guys, please start it, like what Sharik was saying. Start recording it, start completing it. So example, if you are not working and you are managing your studies comfortably, take up the ethics module and finish it. If any of you all have already started working and it's been a few months, in this week, start recording it. Just get that experience of how to record it once. So you're crystal clear in your mind that, okay, I know how to do this. I don't have to really worry about PR, run to Makaranda Bhavna and ask questions or any panic that basically I've seen people go through for PR. It's not that complex. So just, chill, finish it, aram se, start it, for example, whenever you can. Again, see, it's very simple. I'm saying there's no rush. But if you have the time, take it out and just start recording and finish it. It's going to be easy. And now the final thing, I'm going to take you guys through the myACCA account of one of our students who has partially completed it. So for most of you guys who don't have anything in your PER clear, you guys will now see how it looks, basically how to go through each of those 3 legs, how to record it, and once you record it, what will it show, so that you have complete clarity on PR at the end of this. Okay, so after I'm going to take you all through this, then we'll go through the Q&A at the end of it. See, when you're logged into myACCA, guys, this is what is generally shown. For those who've never logged in, please do log in once at least, because it's absolutely mandatory. I hope nobody has never logged into their myACCA. You scroll down and here is record your practical experience. Okay, now see this part, employment. This is your 36 months of work experience. Zen has completed 17 out of 36 months. This is how it could show. For most of y'all who have not started, this will show as 0 months. The whole thing will be gray. This is performance objectives. This is where you'll be able to see this. And I'll show you all the ethics module at the end. So let's start with this. 36 months of work experience, how to record it, what is the step-by-step procedure. Right. Now look, Zen works at GT. Okay, he's put the details of, he started last year in April till now, it's been 17 months. When you add the, look at this, he has to add all the details. He has to add the details of his employer over here, meaning his senior, who is a CA, so that when he actually submits the fact that, okay, I've completed more months, an email will go from ACCA to his senior, asking the senior that has then completed so many more months under you, under this role, under audit, in case of Zen. So the senior will then reply to ACCA by saying yes, and then ACCA will record this 17 months. So if for anybody who's new, here 0 months, you have to click on add new employer. You fill in all the details, and then after you fill it, they'll ask, you can then show how many months you've completed in what profile. Then it will go to your senior. So guys, try and ensure that the senior, that the employer who you're going to be naming is a CA. It would be much more beneficial for you guys. So that is how to record it. On top of this, guys, like I said, if you're a shifting company, you keep adding new employers again and again, so that each of your months are recorded. So it could be that the 17 months is 7 months is under one employer, 10 months is under another one, the next few months under another one. So you can have multiple employers, different fields, working in different fields. The process of recording PR is the same. Most of you guys, I know, unfortunately, will record it right at the end, but it's a little confusing to remember what happened over the last 3 years. So it's better to keep recording it at least once in 6 months, if nothing else. So like every 2 quarters when you finish exam, start recording. This would be a recommendation again. Right. So this is about employee. Is Sharik there, Pavna?
Yes, Pratham, I'm there.
Okay. So Sharik, anything in this which you would like to add?
No, Pratham, I think really you have covered almost everything. Yes. So it's a very simple process. It's just that you have to, fill in quite few details, and more importantly, so basically the important part is how are you, descripting the summary. You have to write a quite, brief summary, not more than, I believe, 50-60 words. It's just that you have to present a very proper picture so that our team can review it, and then, it normally it gets accessed by our team which sits at HO, and then they review it, and then it's done. It takes around 2 to 4 days of time, to put it forward and to accept your PR. So that's it. That's all about it.
Great. So that's pretty simple, guys. Just the summary is basically that, yeah, I'm working in this company, in this department for this many months, and just submit it. It will be sorted. So this is to do with the 36 months of experience. Again, this is called the first leg, or at least at Dell, we call it the first leg of PR. Now coming to the second leg, which is your performance objectives. Now, this is what most of you all were, I was saying again, I'll show you all. See, look at this, guys. So essentials is those 5 which you'll have to do, and technical, you have to choose 4 out of all these. First, let me show you a little bit about technical. Okay, let me just give you all an idea. Let's say that any of you all are working in audit. Okay. So now look at this particular objective. Prepare for and plan the audit and assurance process. If any of you guys are working in audit, this would have by default been done, because before you go to a client for audit, you would sit with your senior, you would discuss what happened in the past with this client, You would discuss the client's little bit of business model and his financials so that you are prepared to go for the new year's audit. So this entire discussion that you had with your senior is this: prepare for and plan. So all you have to do is explain this experience with your senior in 200 to 500 words. That's it. So look at this objective: prepare and complete. You start. Okay. These are the, okay, forget all these elements and all. You don't have to really worry too much about it. You basically have to ensure that all these elements are sort of fulfilled. Sharik, does it have to be all these elements, or does it have to be any of these elements?
So it's not mandatory that you have to, you know, go through each and every element. So that's fine. If you're going with any one of them, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And once Zen starts completing a few of his mandatory ones, no, one more thing will open up here, which will give him examples of what kind of objective answers he has to give. So I'll show you all. Now come back to this one. Look at this. Ethics and professionalism. Guys, you have to demonstrate that you're ethical. It's so obvious that you can do it. Right? So even if you just read this fundamental principles, blah, 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 it just says that you have to be basically ethical. These are the elements. Take your time, read it. It's not complex. And here is where you need to explain in 200 to 500 words. How is it that you've demonstrated your ethics and professionalism? Once you do that, you save it, you submit it, it will go to your senior, he will approve it, and it is done. You will be done with 1 out of 9 objectives once you write over here what your ethical demonstration is. And to help you all, here are examples. So I'll show you all one which, okay, look at this one. Using digital technology to analyze and evaluate data from a variety of sources, ensuring integrity and security of data. Any which ways, most of the, when you guys are working, most of the data which is confidential, which is secure, you can use that saying that, look, I had, you know, your firewall and IP protected password, and my laptop was basically secured, and I ensured that all the Excel files had, you know, sheets properly locked XYZ. Demonstrate that you've been ethical, you've not misused it, you've not let it just, you know, spread out, and it will be accepted. So I'll tell you one thing, guys. When I used to work in a company called PwC, and there was this insane incident that happened. Okay, it was damn scary actually. What happened is, we had a lot of client information which we had sort of, and a lot of bundle of paperwork which all of us at the fresher level we would just put in our drawer niche, and it had become a huge pile. It was client data, but it was more of rough sheets and drafts and stuff like that. Now, one day in PwC, they came up, an external party came up and said, guys, we are going to help you recycle paper. So everybody who has a lot of additional bunch of papers, please share it with us. We'll recycle it. Without thinking or realizing what we were doing, some of us freshers, we gave them that bunch of client papers. And we gave it to them just before they were going to take it. Somebody found out and stopped it. But if they would have taken it, even though they were drafts, that would be a huge breach of client confidentiality, and also then it would be automatically taken up as unethical on PwC's behalf. So these kind of things are basically what never happens. I'm giving you a very unrealistic, a very rare example. The flip side of this is most of the time you're going to be careful, most of the time you're going to be ethical. So you'll have hundreds of examples of where you can demonstrate this ethical and professional objective. Look at the second one: stakeholder relationship management. So stakeholders are literally internal and external. So whether it's your own company, seniors, juniors, partners, externally, if you have customers, as long as you're maintaining strong relations with them, it will be shown as an object. Give an example of how you maintained your relationship with this thing. Look at these examples, man. It's so simple. Communicating in a way that suits the audience, using the right tone. Any email you send, will qualify for this in a long way. So these objectives are genuinely, it sort of, like I was saying, automatically gets covered in your 36 months of work experience. So these 5 are those mandatory ones. This is sort of at a macro level. And then these, so if you guys are working in reporting, so our faculty, Aditya works in financial reporting. Jigar used to work in financial management. We have people who work in tax, audit. Most of our students who are working right now are working in audit. So you'll be able to randomly pick any 4 of these show it in 200, 400 words, submit it, and you're done. This is what performance objectives are. Now coming to the third and final leg, which is your ethics module. Now guys, EPSM is Ethics and Professional Skills module. What is this? First of all, it is not an exam, okay, because a lot of people have asked me this in the past. It's not an exam. Once you go into your myACCA account, there is this place, you click on it, and once you start, it's just they give you a few case studies which are to do with ethics. Most of us ideally will be able to answer it just out of common sense. It's not that it's something to study. And unless you're super unethical in life, you'll very easily be able to complete this in a couple of hours. It is like a small case study, and they ask you, what would you do in this scenario? You click it, move ahead. If it's wrong, if you weirdly select an unethical answer, they'll tell you, no, this is wrong. So you go back and select the right one and move ahead. And that way you finish the two, how much, 1.5, 2, 3 hours it will take, and you can finish your ethics module. It's the third leg of PER. You can complete it at any point of time. So I don't know if you guys know, but there are certain diplomas that you get. So after you finish the first 9 papers, you get a diploma, an advanced diploma in accounting and business by ACCA. The criteria for this diploma is you finish your 9 exams and you complete this EPSM module. Not compulsory, just for you to know. Okay. However, it is mandatory that if you want membership, you have to finish PER, and PER includes EPSM. So you can complete it any time to earn the affiliate or the member status. Acha, it is recommended to do it when you study SBL. Again, guys, if any of you are already past SBL and you've not done EPSM, you'll know that it's not mandatory. It is a healthy recommendation. Do it. It's good. It'll help you maybe score a few extra marks. There's never a downside to it. It's £60 to complete. So you got to pay for it. It's mandatory to pay for it. And like I already said, it takes around 2 hours on an average to complete it. In this particular case, our recommendation is, guys, do it. It's not that, do it when you have time. It's not that hard. It's not that time consuming. Get it out of your head, move on, because it's supposed to be done for membership purposes. So that is about the ethics and professional skills module. Sharik?
Yes, Pratham, I think you've rightly covered almost everything. Even here, I would say, even if you have completed 9 papers, just give EPSM module. Don't wait, till you clear all your P-level papers. It's just that you can complete at any point of time.
Yeah. So see, this is where your ethics module. Now, Zen has completed it. But otherwise, all you have to do is click over here, which is take your EPSM module. Sharik, approximately, on an average, you said how long will it take for them to finish?
Normally, it depends person to person. Someone takes around 2 to 3 hours. Some take more than that because there are a lot of modules which are in EPSM.
Got it.
So if you are studying in one shot, it shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 hours, I think.
3 to 4 hours. Okay. So on your myACCA account, you come here, you click, you finish it in a few hours, and you are done with your ethics module. Once you're done with these 3 legs, guys, you all are done with your PER. This is how it will look as you guys complete it. And as you already saw, this is how it looks when your other things are also completed. That's it. It's that easy to complete your PER. So the easy part is recording. The tough part is going through those 36 months of experience. So this is how PER overall works.
So guys, wait. Before you leave, I'm going to leave you all with the same old. Do you know what the difference between you and a successful version of you is? The successful version of you would not miss out on subscribing to this channel today.